GM everyone, I'm Hikaru. Today we're going to be talking all about the state of things in crypto. Hopefully to give you some hope and some data, and hopefully not cope and, TA and just useless stuff. So we should start with the fact that we've gone through a pretty large drawdown, like a 50% discount on BTC from all-time highs, and we have to look at the PMI, right? So the USB COI ticker, and this is the big macro of things, hopium, right? So of course this is the business cycle, and we've gone through this big uptick that has given us, for the first time in the cycle, above 50 reading here. So the big macro of things is pretty positive in this way. And if we take an extrapolation of the PMI oscillation cycles, we're gonna find out a March 2027 peak or so. We are in the middle of the cycle, so it has been a pretty extended one. I mean, cycles are pretty much cyclical, not too long. We've gone through a really long one, like 1,500 days or so. So I do believe the bull market is not over. So if you take a look at a very nice indicator that is about M2 deviation, let me load it up. We do see that this indicator, which is just a set score of the of M2 global liquidity, whenever it enters above, below zero, we indeed are in a sort of bear market. We got it here and all the way through here, and it started in November or so, which is funny enough. I think I created this indicator around here. So we are in a bearish state. However, it is not a macro bear market in a lot of different ways. First off, this bear market has been very much a Bitcoin one. Risk denominated in the S&P 500 has been pretty much nodding along the all-time highs, which is quite rare. Gold too, it's pretty much gonna go to all-time highs from what I can see, and it's very overbought. However, countries like China accumulating a lot of FOMO, right? There's a lot of factors that have sort of told us that this cycle is not over. It is quite rare with this condition of BTC just going really badly, and gold in SPX almost at all-time highs, is rare, very rare. Usually in bear markets, you do see a drawdown in gold. Here, this period is sort of a macro bull market, and right now we're not seeing that. We're only seeing continuation. We're seeing risk on, but it's a very complex market in the fact that it's very specific. Things are not floating up easily at all, and I like to load up this indicator to better show what I mean. So of course, crypto is just bad, right? High value, however short, of course. While metals have cooled off, the hold is pretty much long. Silver has been gaining some strength now. It's like 5% up today. And copper's good too. It's neutral, right? And the S&P is not looking great, with the dollar going down, which is good, and bond yields going down, good as well. However, it only tells you that the opportunities in the market are quite rare. You have to really take a good look at individual stocks if you're doing stocks. And in crypto, accumulation is the one thing you can do, right? However, it's not systemized. You're just doing DCA based on the fact that you might have a bias. like I do. I think things are gonna go up. But this is a bet, essentially. On my rotation system, things are pretty fucked up, although we're short. However, we have retraced 2025. It's been a sort of a bear market of some sorts. I could apply PAX G, like gold in it, but I just want to have crypto things here. Let me allocate to just the top coin, and let's see what the situation is here. So right now your only bet is BTC, and yeah, it's not good. You got Doge slightly beating BTC. However, in these sort of markets, I'm pretty sure Doge is just maybe had a good day or so. Yep. Sometimes indicators just catch this and go, oh, things start going up. It wasn't. It's retracing pretty badly, so that's fine. Things are risk off. And one thing to just tell if things are risk on or not is the long-term trends, like the 3-day BTC trend. Things are short, of course. They went short around October, and this was a pretty massive warning sign of things to come. I did not think things would get this bad, because valuation just messed up here, and now we're again at pretty high value levels. However, we know valuation can give you a pretty high value conviction bottom signal here, but essentially go down and diverge, which a lot of indicators, if you see this, like price going down and valuation going up, or on-chain data going up and price diverging, that's actually pretty good, and a pretty good sign of things to come. So it's not something to beat yourself over with whenever there's that divergence going on. Now let's talk about where things might go from now. According to my bands, 53k or so, 54k is a possibility. The bands are going down. We haven't seen enough stabilization in the PA, in the price action of Bitcoin. So around the low 50s is a probable path if price decides to still go down. I personally do not think this will happen, as if we take a look at the sort of the forward macro things, we are seeing good conditions starting to come based on DXY, M2, and a lot of other factors. We are not in a bear sort of market cycle, as we've seen through the PMI to M2, through the forward macro. It's not short. We're seeing pretty good conditions starting around March or end of March or so, like April. I think we're going to have good price action, if not stabilization of price. I think this is a pretty good sign of things to come. Do not beat yourself over the fact that we've gone through a mini bear cycle, which, I mean, it's pretty huge, like 50%, and the M2 deviation went into bear mode. So yes, it is a technical bear cycle, however, not a macro bear cycle. That I have a lot of confidence and trust in that this is not a bear cycle. Another confluence is my macro extrapolator indicator, where it's just an indicator telling us all about stocks and Fed liquidity and M2 and gold, and things look great. This model has an R-squared of 0.9, which is pretty good, and I believe that we are forming a strong base for the things to come in the future. Of course, this is not static, like it will not stay this throughout the following months. However, we are building such a strong divergence, like an 80% divergence, which gives us a fair value above 100k. Even if we pull off the M2 deviation set score indicator, our fair value for BTC to resume the bull market is around 102k, which is around here, which is very close to the probabilistic sort of waves of the macro extrapolator. Now that we're talking about M2, let's take a look at the nominal. We are at all-time highs. That is incredible. And the M2 sort of 3-month-on-month rate of change is telling us that we are starting to roll at least sideways. This indicator, of course, is a 3-month-on-month rate of change, so it doesn't mean necessarily that if the thing goes up, BTC goes up, although it has done sort of these cycles here, like here's one, here's another, and here, and now we're building up to another one. I mean, I hope this is just this follows it nominally. However, I think this is just more of a sign of stabilization. And I mean, this is right now, like, as the things are, this is a trader's market, okay? We're trending down, consolidating, trending down, consolidating. I'm inclined to think this is the last consolidation before up. We might just get another leg down, but that would just create such an extreme valuation moment that I do not think it'll lead to another one. You could try and trade with indicators, however, trend indicators are usually pretty bad for BTC. They usually catch you at the top and sell you a bottom. I recommend waiting. Time is your best ally, especially whenever we had such a long downtrend with good macro conditions going up. I don't think this is the moment to short things. I don't think this is the moment to 100x long things either. This should be a time for research to all of us. And if you're a TA trader and you do good enough, these areas are a lot of fun to trade. But for high conviction traders like I am, which I use systems and try to avoid, the usual indicators that act pretty well at some point, but then go really bad and they're not super technical. More serious systems are the way to go, not this. So what are things you should monitor, in my opinion? I think the BTC gold ratio is the big one. We are so short in the BTC gold ratio. It has actually lost sort of the whole cycle, because this period, sort of this leg down, which essentially retraced after a while, was the FTX crash. This was not macro. Essentially, this was just a full market meltdown over news, and essentially an exchange blowing up. So in the true sense of things, this was the macro bottom of the cycle, and we essentially are visiting it almost. So that is very, very rough. Any cycle indicators on BTC Gold are essentially broken because it sort of lost that trend into this area. And right now, we are essentially catching knives if we're doing anything based on the BTC Gold ratio, because the levels to retake are so high. You essentially could have this happen to you. You just chop it around, and after a while it could break out. But that is a long way from now. Or just wait for this sort of trend to break. That's a true bullish moment. As we're using gold as a denominator here, it's very, very hard to take any sort of real insight from this ratio. I think even valuation indicators are broken here, because this is such an unusual downtrend. We might be diverging, which we are, but slightly. I mean, extreme readings would be like a 19, which is what we were just a month ago or so. So this very much is a technical bear market in the most traditional sense of things, without macro in mind. This is pretty bear. This is pretty bearish. Another thing to look at is the BTC Bitunix long ratio, which I inverted here, but green is good, red is bad, and they got caught off guard with this shit. This little uptrend situation that happened here, but was a nothing burger. It's now going down. No clear signs of this going up, so you can monitor this. I believe whenever it starts picking up next, then we might just go up because the macro is supportive in the following months. Another bad sort of data is the financial set score, which whenever it goes up, it's not good. It's pretty high. There's some stress going on. We're very much at the top of this. In bear markets, just bad. It's just stress all of the time, with very, very slight relief. But right now we're pretty stressed out. We are not in pretty good conditions, and the ARK SPX set score, which is just sort of another risk on sentiment thing, is still a risk off. Although it's recovering, we need to see this essentially above zero for a sustained amount of time, right? We saw through this sort of flip-flopping around, which didn't lead anywhere, and we essentially don't want to see that again. We need to see essentially long periods of an uptrend going on here. And a risk ticker, which I very much like to monitor, is the crypto market with gold, S&P, and the Nasdaq, which with my universal trend indicator is telling me the fact that during this whole green period, it's a good moment to seek risk, and whenever it's red, it's not. Let me pull up BTC just to show you what I mean, and there we are. Whenever we're in this period, it's very much sort of a bull trend cycle with dip opportunities, like dips to buy. And right now we've entered risk off. Things are not good in this area, and in the 3-day time frame, it's actually bad too, which it's short. Hopefully this doesn't turn to this, which it was just short all the way, which was the BTC bear market fully. However, with such a complex market, I don't see this extending into a year like it did here. And right now things are short with PAXG, which is just gold long. Everything else is just short. And right now we are stabilizing in terms of BTC, like we are consolidating. But if you wanted to hold BTC and gold in a balanced way, right now it would be like 2/3 gold and 1/3 BTC, and you're getting right now pretty stable price action. But in the whole scheme of things, BTC is right now in a very, very generational buy zone, as this says over here. We're in this area, and I've done some tests. I mean, there are so many indicators that look just like this, which is sort of a power law type of thing. I call it the quantile horizon model. I think we are in a very, very lucky position right now. This is not a bottom signal. We're not just gonna bounce. We might just go under this and chop around. And actually, the price floor is 58K, which is just 11% away from now. But the ceiling, I mean, it's just 400% up. I don't think this model is gonna break. I think we are, as the PMI says, in the middle of the beginning, and looking ahead, even if we crash to the 0.1% band in a year, price would be 83k, which is higher than now. Time is the ultimate hedge. One thing to monitor is the fact that metals are going up and they're still dominating. I mean, around this area, it looked like BTC might just catch up. I mean, not really, but it looked like the end of metals, and it does not. It might just go to all-time highs again. Gold looks like it, copper too. Silver needs a couple of good days and will be ready to go. So if you're not allocated to metals, I think you should start DCAing into Bitcoin, like buying some Bitcoin, because the value relative to anything else is just way too much. BTC is just extremely oversold based on anything. Like the BTC SPX ratio is bad, the BTC gold ratio is bad, the BTC silver ratio just retraced the entire cycle. And whenever things are so bad that it looks hopeless, that might just be the bottom. So do your own research. Try to watch some macro, some valuation, and get ready for the next uptrend. I certainly will be rebalancing based on my systems, which my systems are based on rotations, and things are not looking pretty bearish in the in the risk rebalancing realm. It's not looking bad. I'm cruising along. We're above the 200 moving day average, so things are still bullish. Do not succumb into fear, doubt, uncertainty. So that's the warning. Systemize your trading. You can still win in this environment. I think we're gonna go a lot higher than we are right now. And that's it. If you got any questions, send them to me. We are on our Discord page. We are on Discord. I post some updates every now and then based on things that I've shown you today. So anyway, so we got a Q&A chat, an education one, some VIP stuff. I got a rebalancer like the one I just shown you. You can get one similar one here, and that's MMH VIP for you. So I hope you like this lesson. I mean, it's not really a lesson, but I mean, more of a lesson. It's just an overview of things. Don't get liquidated. Don't get chopped around. You got this. With that being said, GM.